All you have to do.
Hello and welcome to the latest CraftySniper's airsoft videos. On today's video I'm going to be talking about the brand spanking new Lincolnshire Airsoft Club CQB or Close Quarters Battle airsoft site that is being created as I make this video. A few days ago I was invited by Mr. Ian Lawrence of Lincolnshire Airsoft Club to actually come down and see this site and take some photos of it, but to see a site being transformed into an airsoft site. So it's extremely early days. It's still a farm. Now, on the questions of location, I will not divulge where that location is. I will just say it's a farm. You can work that one out by the photos. But I just want to talk about my opinions of this site and what I kind of hope this site is going to become. Now, these are the views of me. These are not the views of Lincolnshire Airsoft Club. I've been given free rein to video, to photo, to talk about this site from the CraftySniper's point of view. So what's the first thing that struck me when I went to this site? That's the smell. It is a farm, after all. It is going to smell. It wasn't that bad, to be honest with you. I'm just not used to that smell at an airsoft site. But like I say, it is a working farm. And what can you expect? The site itself is quite small. The physical size is actually quite small. Now, another CQB site that I've been to would be the jail in Oakham. And that is quite big, with buildings with multiple levels, you know, jail cells, all that kind of stuff, cell blocks, office blocks, canteens, all that kind of stuff. This site does not have that. It is not that size. It does not have multiple level buildings. Every building is one level, which means I don't get knackered going up and downstairs carrying kit. Basically, what you're looking at is shed-style buildings with long corridors in them. Little tiny off rooms inside these sheds, so they're kind of split up into little pens, for want of a better word. We have corridors in between the sheds. We have a corridor running across the front of the sheds and a corridor running across the back of the sheds. The sheds are quite tall, as they should be, but the site is a predominantly CQB orientated site. So for all those that love your sniper rifles, they're not going to work here. This is not that site. If you want to go sniping for Lincolnshire Airsoft Club, Combat Zone's the site for that. I had a chance to actually just walk around the site and look at the buildings as they stand. And I was looking at it from, obviously, a photographer's point of view, but I was also looking at it from an airsoft player's point of view. And I was looking at certain bits going, you know something, that will be an awesome kill zone, or that will be an awesome, or, you know, angles and getting around them and all that. I'm seeing potential, and that's the word I want to use here with this site, potential. It has that in buckets. How early on in the phase are we of this site? Extremely early. The visit I was invited to was pretty much the first time Lincolnshire Airsoft Club members, staff members that was actually invited to the site to actually take a look at it. We're still in, or Lincolnshire Airsoft Club I should say, are still in the phases of actually talking and discussing things with the owner. The great thing about this is, I actually noticed this, I actually stood back and actually just watched club owner, Mr. Ian Lawrence, and the site owner, I think his name is John, talking about this, and I got the whiff, probably the wrong choice of word there, but I got the whiff that the site owner, the farmer, is actually very, very for this. He's like, yes, how can I help Lincolnshire Airsoft Club achieve this? And he seems to be extremely, you know, I could do this, I can do that, I can make that look a little better, I can clean this all up, I can do, and it's just so nice to see someone outside of airsoft going to an airsoft club and saying, you know, this is what I'm offering you, but I'm willing to do this, I'm willing to change that, and it is kind of nice to see. It's refreshing as well. The great thing about seeing the Lincolnshire Airsoft LAC, I'm just going to call them LAC, staff members there, was the fact they all had ideas about how we are going to run this site, what kind of matches we're going to play, what kind of restrictions we're going to have to put on the site. And once again, like I say, it's just nice to see those ideas flowing, because it gives me, the airsofter, the idea that this site is going to be well run, well thought out, with good matches. And it's going to be fun, up close. I'm not a total fan of CQB, I will admit that, but I do like the fact that the site is not going to be let down, for instance. It's not going to be just a complete and utter cluster. That word, I'm not going to say it. So yeah, I think this site has an awful lot of potential. Like I say, we're in the very early stages. We're dealing with the site owner at the moment, but we've had builders come in and they've got ideas of how to change stuff, how to make things, and the key word for this is how to make things safe. Because at the end of the day, airsofters are going to come down here at some point, and we want them to leave having a great time, having had a great time, and they want to come back, and it's all excitement and all that. We don't want to have injuries or anything silly like that. So we've got to go through the buildings, make everything safe, and we'll see where we are with the site after all that. There is work that needs to be done to the site. There's no doubt about that. When I was walking around, I was looking at things going, yes, that's a little bit, run down, for want of a better word. It is a working farm, or was a working farm. So, there's going to be things that are a little bit off, a little bit rough, shall we say. So, yeah. But the great thing is, I was walking through the sheds, and I could just see and hear the firefights that are going to happen here. The grenades going everywhere. The intensity of a firefight in CQB is just amped up, like 100% over a firefight in a woodland environment. The closest thing CQB Lincolnshire Airsoft Club do is some of the firefights over the village structures at Combat Zone. But they're still very open space in between all the buildings. At this site, there's not going to be that open space. It's going to be, go in there, have a firefight, get shot, come out, go back in again. It's fast action, repeated. That's what it is. We're already looking at various different matches that we can run. Obviously, some matches that we do at Lincolnshire Airsoft Club for woodland sites will not run in a CQB site. But the great thing again is the staff. I was listening to the staff talk, and it was like they've got ideas already of what kind of matches they can run in this environment and what kind of restrictions. Now, when I talk about restrictions, obviously I did mention already that snipers are probably not going to have a really good time at this site. From where I stood, there was one place in the whole site that I could say, something, I could actually use a sniper rifle here. The problem is, when you take your 35-meter minimum engagement distance into account, it's just not worth it. You'd be shooting from one end of the site to the other end of the site, length, that is, and yeah, you probably get a kill or anything, but it's just, that's not the idea of this site. This idea of site is pistols, shotguns, submachine guns, things like that. I did put my own opinions forward, and I did suggest very early on that it'd probably be a good idea to make this site a semi-automatic site from the get-go, and that was kind of pounced on. Yes, that's a good idea. I wouldn't want to, as an airsofter, run into a shed, not know that there's somebody there because it's all dark and everything, and it's all of a sudden and get laced up by a lot of rounds. So it's probably going to be a semi-automatic site. So that's why I think pistol and shotgun days that Lincolnshire Airsoft Club run, mid-cap events restricted to semi-automatic would be also a very, very good all-round match types and weapons to run at this kind of site. I also really, really love the idea of gas weapons in buildings. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, and I know a friend of mine who's got a Tokyo Marui Breacher shotgun. Sounds awesome. I'm not a fan totally of the size of the thing, but when he racks that slide back or the pump back, it sounds amazing. And that's in a woodland environment. Just imagine what it would sound like in the middle of a shed. It just makes the enemy scared, just by that sound alone. So yeah, gas weapons are going to sound awesome. I personally would be looking at getting a couple of 50-round Glock 17 magazines, gas magazines, and just running that, a pistol with two 50-round mags. Well, hey, way you go, have fun. And I think you're going to have it. What else is there to say about the site? The site itself is really, really, like I say, really, really well thought out, potential ideas. The great thing is also that there is car parking is being sorted out, which apparently I didn't have a chance to have a look at the car park because it's full of farm vehicles at the moment, but apparently it is extremely large and it's ample for all people that turn up with cars, vans, and God only knows what. So that's fairly well covered. You're not a million miles away from civilization. I'll just leave it at that. I'm not saying any more. So, you know, it's not going to be too bad a place. It's not out literally in the middle of nowhere. So I think if you take everything into account, also it's a safe zone. That's another thing I've got to talk about. The safe zone at the moment, where we potentially think the safe zone is going to be, again, it's going to be a well thought out area. It's going to be out of the way of the firefight. You can be up close to it. You're going to be able to actually see the firefight going on. And you're going to have to wear glasses in this safe zone, because you're going to be literally next door to where the firefight is literally happening. So you're going to have to wear safe glasses there. But the safe zone, again, is an area already cordoned out. You can look at the area, which is obviously a farm site at the moment, and go, you know something, that's a safe zone. That will be great. That's where you can put the shop up, where we can have people putting their kit up. We're going to have the chrono ranges all there. You know, it's all that good stuff, and it's brilliant. It's out the way of the site, but it's right next door to it. You can literally just step off the site, out of the firefight, into the safe zone, and you're there. So yeah, again, a well thought out site, and the byword is potential, and I just think this site has got endless potential, especially with the great guys at Lincolnshire Airsoft Club, who seem to have ideas coming out of everywhere for what they can do. Time plan for this site: there is no fixed date for this site opening. I would imagine it's going to be end of summer before this site opens. Then there is work that needs to be done. Stay tuned to the Lincolnshire Airsoft Club Facebook page. Okay, that's where a lot of information is going to be released regarding this site. Stay tuned to my CraftySniper's Facebook site, because I'm going to be going back to this site, and every time I go back, I'm taking photos. I'm going to do a walk around video. That's my next thing to do, to show you guys really what this site actually looks like. Photos don't quite do it justice. So I want to basically create some media showing the start of the journey for opening this CQB site and the final day when we open up as a first match, and just show you guys what is involved with the opening, creating of an airsoft site. So yeah, I'm CraftySniper. I hope you found this video very informative about the CQB site, which is going to be opened at some point this year by Lincolnshire Airsoft Club. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them. Just remember, I will not give away any location. I will not give any clues or anything like that. But if you want a bit more my feelings of this site, would this particular weapon system you think work in this site, ask me. I had a chance to walk all over that site, and yeah, I've walked up and down many places, and yeah, it's a very, very good site. So I'm CraftySniper. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on an airsoft site very, very soon.